When you start this game, you don't know how to use its various systems or make a sustainable supply chain to get ingredients and make all the food you need to survive the grueling battles. That's why in this video I'm going to be breaking down all the different systems, dispatch missions, farm, and the garden. So sit back, enjoy, and learn all you can from this guide. You can also get food from enemy airdrops, but it's not unsustainable in a way. It's highly random what you actually get from each drop. Sometimes you get food, like shown here, other times you don't. So I wouldn't recommend this method of getting food. You can also get food from various places in Palworld. For example, here in the Howling Camp, you can buy various dishes. However, I wouldn't recommend this as there's only a limited amount of food you can acquire. It's also quite expensive to actually get. For your journey in Crimson Desert, I would not recommend this as it's very expensive and not sustainable and very inefficient as you continue your travels in this game. You can also get food from various places in the world just randomly picking it up. Or you can steal it. But you guys wouldn't do that, right?
I've got guards along my...
What's the meaning of this?
Are you broken in the head?
The final way of getting food is by crafting it and, in this case, cooking it. You can do two ways, with one with a recipe, the other way is manually doing it, which in this game is called improvising. Let's for example use boiled meat. Here you can input all the ingredients you need for the recipe itself. However, doing so takes quite a while, and you have to do it for each dish you make. Or you just use the recipe, hit confirm, and the game does it completely automatic. So this is the way I would do it, as you only need the recipe once.
Strength.
Now dispatch missions. I'm not going to be using this for eggs or milk, considering you can be using the farm for that to get automatic and passively resources. However, getting vegetables from the green farm, here you can get turnips, which is in a high amount and a short amount of cooldown time, or task time in this case. Or you can get it from in the bottom here, iron wood farm, which is beets, which is the same amount requires a few workers, but well worth it for the amount you get. Now, in between chapter 11 and 12, you get access to salt mines in Delicia, which is very important as it can be hard to purchase them or get them, and you also don't want just to have to travel to each vendor just to get salt every time. For Paloon, here you get the best meat from Swinhole Ranch. Here you get marbled meat, a high amount, only takes 18 ounces as well, and you get 50. So that's why we only use the farm for passively getting eggs and milk. When you've chosen the ingredients you want on, for example, all the vegetables, meat and salt, I've chosen. Remember also to get some security missions so that you can afford all these missions. Otherwise you run out of money before you know it. Make sure to get as much money as you can from each of the missions. These are the only missions where you actually need to max out all your potential gain in rewards. The other missions you don't necessarily need this. Now for the farm, there are three ways of getting farm animals or livestock. The first way is from getting them from the wilds. The second is buying them. Or the third one is by stealing them. However, even your fellow Grey Maidens will look down upon you and put you in prison if you get the chance. You can buy a livestock in your own camp. However, you need to interact with certain NPCs to get 100% trust with them. I'm not going to be showing the NPCs as you can actually learn their names here and just search it online. However, there's some important points I have to explain.
Who'd raise the cattle if I
When
went
you
around?
choose animals for your farm, you want chickens because they provide you eggs and feathers as a product. You also get from goats milk as a product without having to butcher them. The same goes for dairy cows, which also gives you milk without having to butcher them. For
Who'd raise the
this
cattle if
reason,
I went
I
around?
would never actually get baby pigs and slaughter them, considering you only get a little bit of meat. And as you've shown before, you can get all the marble meat you would ever need, not needing to have to slay ever again a baby pig. Now for the garden. This one I wouldn't be using for oil or food making, as it's slower and you have to actually maintain it yourself, and it's not something that happens passively. You can get different seeds to grow and help your animals level up, and that way it increases your productivity in milk and eggs. However, they will also do that from just getting apples and buying from vendors, and once they're max level, you don't really need to do anything with them since you're not going to be butchering them. But this case, I'm only using the garden to get end-game materials such as abyss settles and wild mandrakes or other similar ingredients. So I'm not going to be explaining more about this. Now with all that, now we have a steady supply of all the ingredients to make this dish. And have an infinite amount, which you can also just increase because of how much we get. To get the highest version and some of the best heals in this game. Now there's only one thing we are missing. What could that be? The only thing that doesn't automatically generate. I know. Water.
And if I could, I'd make a deal with God, and I get him to swap our places. Be running up that road, be running up that hill, be running up that building. Say if only I could.
Now we have plenty of water, sponsored by Pearl Biz with a newly built well. Now we can make the normal version of boiled meat, or with the amount of infinite resources we get, we can make the hearty boiled meat, which gives us some of the highest heals in this game. So that was my food guide / camp management to help you be more efficient with how you get your food, to help yourself throughout this game. Hope it helped. Please subscribe, subscribe, like this video. It will really help the channel probably survive the algorithm. See you guys to the next video.
And if I